Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here with the announcement of the August PlayStation Plus Essential Games. These games will be available to download if you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus starting August 1st. You're looking at PGA Tour 2K 2023 for PS5 and PS4, Dreams for PS4, and Death's Door for PS5 and PS4. So if you are a PS Plus subscriber, let me know down in the comments below what you think about the August PS Plus Essential lineup. Moving on to the next topic, continuing to talk about PlayStation Plus. Sea of Stars is apparently a day one PS Plus release, and it's also going to be a day one release on Game Pass. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, Sea of Stars will be a day one release on PS Plus Extra Premium alongside Xbox Game Pass. The game will be released on August 29th. Therefore, it will be a late addition to the subscription service for next month, but it marks the first time a game has been released on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus simultaneously. A demo for Sea of Stars is available on PS5 and PS4 today, July 25th. Well, that was actually yesterday. While the demo does contain areas from the final build of the game, it avoids the story and other major spoilers from the main campaign. Instead, the demo focuses on dungeon crawling gameplay systems and combat mechanics to give players a feeling for the turn-based RPG ahead of its release. So yeah, this is definitely something that's worth mentioning here. This is apparently the first time we're ever seeing a game launch day and date on both PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass on the same day. And I know that quite a few people are looking forward to this, so let me know if it's a game you actually plan on purchasing or if you're going to now experience it through PlayStation Plus. Moving on from that, we have a new event that Sony's going to be partaking in, and it seems that they will have some announcements. It's just that it's likely these announcements aren't going to be like the big, first party titles or announcements that people look forward to. Reading from Push Square, it says Sony is plotting a press conference in China this week, which it promises will reveal the third phase of its ongoing China Hero project. The Japanese giant has been nurturing developers all across the country, pledging funding, marketing, and publishing support for a variety of games, including Fist, Forged in Shadow Torch, and more. This week it confirmed that despite skipping most major conventions this year, it'll have a booth at ChinaJoy in Shanghai, which is scheduled to take place this weekend between July 28th and July 31st. And prior to that, it'll host a press conference where it'll reveal new Chinese-developed PS5 and PS4 games coming to its consoles. Phase 3 of the China Hero project is said to include around 10 titles, but only 3 have been officially unveiled thus far. Xlige, Awaken, Astral Blade, and Willless. That means we should learn about several more titles during the press conference. And it's worth noting that Lost Soul Side will be part of this conference. I know that this is a game that quite a few people have been waiting for and waiting to, hear more about, see more of, and it's going to be part of it. It's also worth noting that apparently Helldivers 2 will be part of the show floor when it comes to PlayStation, so might be worth paying attention to see if we get any new gameplay footage from that. It's a game I'm looking forward to. I know that some of you are as well. But there you go. Let me know if you're going to be tuning into this or if you're going to be paying attention to it, and if you're excited to see what Sony may bring to the table here. Moving on to the next topic, we have a report from VGC, and it says the first impressions of the PC port of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart have been published. Respected hardware publication Digital Foundry has concluded that while the port is impressive overall and a knockout from a visual perspective, the team also feels some level of disappointment that overall polish isn't quite where it should be. Later in the article, Digital Foundry highlights the ongoing discussion over the game's ability to run on slower machines with no SSD, when previously Insomniac claimed that the SSD was essential for its PS5 version. Quote, "The difference between the console experience and the very low settings is frankly immense in terms of data transfer. You'll witness the carnage of what happens when you try to run Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on a launch PS4 512GB hard disk drive. Even the very low settings doesn't work and the game eventually crashes," end quote. Digital Foundry's John Linneman posted a video on Twitter of the game running on those base settings, and the results are clear. The game runs on the lowest possible setting, but at first attempt to go through one of the game's portals, it hangs in midair for several seconds, almost completely freezes, before eventually forcing itself into the next area. To make the game work across as many PCs as possible, Nixxes did what Insomniac did not need to necessarily. They scaled the game by introducing quality presets, and in common with Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, that includes increasing fidelity for higher-end systems and reducing it where needed, the Digital Foundry piece continued. Digital Foundry also mentioned on Twitter that with a more modern HDD, the game works okay. Moving on to the next topic, though, continuing to talk about Insomniac, I want to just briefly mention this here because I feel like it went under the radar. There's been a lot of conversations since the announcement of Spider-Man 2, knowing it's going to be a PS5 only title. Is it going to feature a 60 FPS performance mode on PS5? It seems like it was essentially indirectly confirmed by Insomniac's community manager on Twitter. I put out my own tweet here where I said recently Insomniac's community manager confirmed Spider-Man 2's story trailer was captured in fidelity mode on PS5, meaning there will be a 4K 60 FPS performance mode. And if we look at the actual tweet, a user asked, "Can you confirm if the trailer was in performance or fidelity mode?" And Insomniac's community manager simply says fidelity mode, meaning that there will be multiple modes to choose from, which I don't want to say is like surprising. I think everybody was expecting this, but this is pretty much the closest thing we have to explicit confirmation that there will in fact be a 60 FPS performance mode for Spider-Man 2 on PS5. But the final topic I have here reveals that Insomniac is already working on another unannounced AAA PS5 game. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, Insomniac Games appears to have 3 AAA PS5 games in development, one of which has yet to be announced. According to a developer working on the project, Aaron Eberhardt, a project director on the unannounced game, revealed this tidbit of information during an interview last September, which has only just started making the rounds online. At the time of the interview in question with Full Sail University, Insomniac had already announced Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Eberhardt, a former Blizzard Entertainment employee who also worked on PlayStation Now at Sony, mentioned that she had been at Insomniac for almost a year at the time of the interview. Quote, "So I'm working on an unannounced title," end quote. She adds that she can't talk about the project. She then expressed excitement over hitting her 1-year anniversary. She also says, quote, "It feels really good to be back home at Sony. I feel like they really invest in their employees. They invest in our education. They invest in our well-being, and they invest in our growth," end quote. So yeah, this is some pretty interesting information we're getting here. It's interesting to me that we're learning about this, so far after the fact, but apparently this was confirmed, and it's worth noting that this is actually not the first time we've heard about something like this. We did hear a while back through a job posting that Insomniac was working on something separate from Spider-Man and Wolverine. We just simply didn't know what it was exactly, other than that it was a multiplayer project. And so now we are getting further confirmation that on top of developing Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, 2 big AAA games, and probably some of the biggest AAA games we're going to get this generation, somehow, someway, Insomniac has a third AAA project that they are juggling and working on. I mean, I don't want to say it's surprising because it's Insomniac, but it's still impressive nonetheless. Insomniac has proven to be just an absolutely insane studio when it comes to their output, and yeah, they've been doing some serious work and some heavy lifting for the PlayStation 5 this generation, and for PlayStation in general since they were acquired. So figured I would just let you guys know about this. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Again, if you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.